This is the Death Row and Executions channel. Here is your host, Paco Rivera.
Welcome back to the Death Row and Executions channel. I am Paco Rivera. You can also follow me on Facebook for updates and more Death Row news. There will be a link to my Facebook in the description below. You can also check out my other channel here on YouTube called The Maximum Sentence, where I cover recent crimes and convictions. There will be a link for that as well. By July 29th, 1997, Arthur Lee Burton was 27 years old. He is originally from Louisiana, but in 1997, he was residing in Texas. Burton had last committed crimes that authorities know about when he was 18 years old, mostly burglaries and vandalism. However, since then, he had no criminal record. This was 27 years ago, and like I said, Burton was 27 years old at the time. He's now 54. He had never been arrested for anything since age 18. Yet, on this day, July 29, 1997, that would change. As Burton was riding his bicycle through a park in Houston and came upon a jogger that was running past him. That jogger was a 48-year-old woman named Nancy Adleman, and the park that she was jogging through was located in the neighborhood where she lived. Nancy was married to Mark Adleman, and over the years they had 3 children. Nancy had enjoyed jogging through a nearby park that runs along a bayou in Texas, and on July 29th, at about 7 o'clock in the evening, with the sun still shining at that time, Nancy, wearing a blue top, shorts, and sneakers, went on her run, which typically takes her just a few minutes. Also in the woods that day were several witnesses that later came forward to describe a man they had seen riding a bicycle, and that he appeared very angry. It was interesting to note in the case files that several different witnesses had said the same thing: an angry man in the park that day. One of those witnesses was a woman named Sharon Leyland, who was watching her children play in the park near the bayou. At one point, she turned and saw a man on a bicycle who stopped near her. She said that he looked dirty and he looked angry. Sharon greeted the man anyway by saying hello, but he just gave her a mean look and rode off. Feeling threatened, Sharon decided to take her children home. As Sharon was leaving, she saw Nancy Adleman jogging along a trail in the park. Yet another witness would later say that he thought he heard a woman scream, but was unable to locate the area where it came from. Nancy Adleman never arrived back home that night. Her family got worried and did the best they could to find her, but were unsuccessful. And as it got very late into the night, Nancy's family reported her missing. During a search of the park early the following morning, her body was found in one of several holes in the ground in a wooded area. She was not wearing anything from the waist down, and she was strangled to death with one of her own shoelaces from one of her tennis shoes. By that time, those witnesses in the park the day before had heard about the murder, with news of the crime and dead woman's body found now spreading all throughout the community. They all came forward to speak about the strange man on a bicycle in the park. And some who came face to face with the man had provided a police sketch artist an accurate description of what he looked like. That sketch was broadcast by the media, and that led to tips. Quite a few callers gave the same name and said that that is Arthur Burton. About a week after the crime, Arthur Burton was picked up and transported to the police station to be questioned. At first, he denied everything. He was never on a bicycle. He was never in the park. He never saw the woman jogging. But his stories kept changing. Yeah, okay, I did borrow my grandmother's bicycle that day. I was in the park for a short time, but I never saw the jogger. The now death row inmate, Arthur Lee Burton, had proceeded to give other confessions. It should be noted that his confessions were forever changing, so anything that comes out of his mouth must be taken with a grain of salt. In one of his final confessions, Burton said that he saw Nancy Adleman jogging across the trail. He said that he dropped his bicycle into a secluded area of the woods and then attacked Nancy. Burton said that he forced her deeper into the woods, but she was struggling and fighting and yelling, so he had to choke her with his hands and she fell unconscious. He said that he then removed her shorts and undergarment and attempted to have sex with her, but that she woke up and started screaming, so he had to choke her again until she fell unconscious again. But that just before she fell unconscious one final time, while he was choking her, Nancy Adleman had said to him, "I forgive you, and God does too." Burton said he could hear someone in the distance, and he was afraid of being discovered if Nancy wakes up again, so he removed a shoestring from one of her tennis shoes and strangled her with it. One thing I want to clear up, while researching this case, I carefully reviewed the case files. The medical examiner and authorities say that Nancy Adleman was not violated. Remember that YouTube doesn't like me using the S or R word, and I prefer not to have this video get shadow banned. Anyway, there was no evidence of a R having taken place. Yet, I have read many news reports, some of them very popular news sources, saying that she had been indecently violated or assaulted. I find it difficult to believe that they didn't review the case files to verify before issuing those reports. Anyway, that part of the many different stories Arthur Burton has told over the years just might be the only truthful thing he had said. But now, Arthur Burton is back to saying he had nothing to do with that crime. In 1998, the case went to trial, and Arthur Lee Burton was found guilty of capital murder, and he was sentenced to death. And in May of this year, 2024, he was given a date for his execution. That is scheduled to take place on August 7th of this year. Aside from jogging, Nancy Adleman also very much enjoyed writing poetry, and in 2019, a little over 20 years after her murder, Nancy's daughter, Sarah, published a book detailing the family's memoirs of her mother, along with a collection of her mom's poetry. That book is available on Amazon if anyone is interested. It is called The Lamp Black Blue of Memory, My Mother Echoes. In one line from a review of the book, it reads, "Before now, I could not have imagined a more courageous, life-changing memoir than this. Yet, here it is, a loving tribute to Sarah Adleman's long-grieving father and lost mother." Please remember to hit the subscribe button for more death row and upcoming execution stories so that you're alerted when the next one comes out. You can also follow me on Facebook for updates. There will be a link to my Facebook in the description below. I am Paco Rivera. Take care and bye for now.